Before we begin the tutorial on how to take off brickwork, I thought it appropriate to provide a second brief tutorial on brickwork itself. The reason being is that brickwork can be quite complex and has a history going back many centuries. Much of the brickwork skills in Australia were brought by the early settlers and then developed further to suit the Australian climate and environment. The Australian standard method of measurement uses precise terms regarding brickwork construction, and it would be extremely difficult to understand the measurement without some explanation of these terms. A good starting point would be to discuss how bricks can be laid, or to be more precise, bonded. There are essentially three main purposes to brick bonding. One, to obtain the maximum strength whilst distributing the loads throughout the wall, column or pier. Two, to resist lateral or overturning forces. And three, to create an acceptable appearance. A simple bond would be stretcher bond. Here you can see a half brick thick wall in stretcher bond where the bricks are laid end to end and the joints staggered for each course. English bond is slightly different in that we alternate courses of stretchers and headers. It is one of the strongest bonds available, but the downside is that it uses more bricks per metre squared of wall than other bonds. Notice that we have to use a queen closure to make the bond fit. A queen closure is a brick cut in half longitudinally. Flemish bond is made by laying headers and stretchers alternatively in each course, usually 3 stretchers and then a header. The bond is not as strong as English bond, but some say it is more aesthetically pleasing, but it does use less facing bricks per metre squared of wall. Strings are simply a course of differing coloured bricks, but sometimes these can be special bricks which form a projection to the brickwork face. Sills come in many forms, but are generally designed to collect the rainwater which has run down a window and let it fall clear of the wall beneath. Lintels, on the other hand, are supports over openings and are designed to carry the loads above, transmitting them to the jarms or piers on each side, and without any deflection. Lintels come in many designs, including reinforced concrete, unreinforced concrete, brick and metal. Corbels, or corbelling, is a building technique going back many centuries, and early examples can be found on medieval castles in the UK and Europe. In modern construction, corbelling is building out a projection which in turn supports the structure above. Building regulations will determine how far out the corbelling is permitted and requires careful design to ensure loads are properly transmitted. A frieze is simply the area above a string course and provides an architectural feature. The Romans used friezes extensively on their temples, many having exquisite carvings. Quoins are simply bricks or blocks that shows its face and header at the outside corner of a masonry wall. This short tutorial will, I hope, give you an introduction to the more common brickwork terms and what they mean. Brickwork is a fascinating trade and can be quite complex. Don't underestimate the importance of being able to measure it accurately.